What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Durant, and we're here to talk more Celtics basketball. And let's just get right into it, man. I know everyone's been talking about it. The whole national media, First Take, Colin Cowherd, you name it, everyone's been talking about the Boston Celtics today. And let's just get back into the recap of this game. The Boston Celtics fall 115-120 to the New Orleans Pelicans after choking a 24-point lead. And my take from this game, my whole take, let's go ahead and break it down. Let me get my thoughts together. Is this the most disappointing loss of the season? No. I feel like the Knicks loss a couple of weeks ago was the most disappointing loss in my opinion. Not the Knicks, but the game against the Wizards. That Sunday, that was the most disappointing. That was a new low because that was the worst team in basketball in my opinion. That's a new low. The next one was probably the second. And then this one comes as third. And all of them have been Sunday games. I told y'all to watch these Sunday games. We're 0-3 now in the season on Sunday games. This is just, it's getting mind-boggling. Let's go ahead and continue. In my opinion, this game was the most disappointing loss of Brad Stevens this season. From Brad Stevens. Like, this is one of the most shameful losses from him as a coach. And I'm not here to bash Brad Stevens, but this loss is on him. It is. When your team blows a 24-point lead, who else is there to blame? The players? No. In that span that they had lost that lead, Brad Stevens had called up 2 timeouts, if I'm not mistaken. Just a pair, 2. That is a fundamental meltdown by Brad Stevens. It was a fundamental meltdown by Brad Stevens. And this is the reason we didn't end up going to the finals last year. And I'm not here to bash Brad. I'm not here to shit on him. I'm not here to say he shouldn't be our coach because I still believe in Brad Stevens as a coach. I still think he's a really good coach. But when you talk about late game adjustments, that is the major flaw in Brad Stevens, the late game adjustments. And it showed in that Miami Heat series, and it's showing now. Brad Stevens never has a counter for another team's counter. And let me explain that. We go into games with great game plans. Like the game plan going into this Pelicans game was great. It was great. Tice was playing great. Tristan Thompson was playing great. This was the best half of basketball in Robert Williams' career. I would say dating back always to that Spurs game in 2019, right before he got hurt, that game, this was the best half and maybe in totality the best game of his NBA career. And Brad Stevens went away from Rob Williams in the second half.
Hey, Zay, hurry up.
That is a complete meltdown. He went away from Rob Williams in the second half. Out of all the bigs that we had, Tice, Tristan Thompson, Rob Williams was playing better than both of those players. And if we're keeping it a stack, if we're keeping it a band, the second best player in that game yesterday was Rob Williams. And Brad Stevens went away from him in the second half. Fundamental meltdown. And so let's go back to my point, what I was talking about. But having a counter to your counter. Brad Stevens goes into games with a great game plan. And as soon as the other team has a counter, as soon as they have a tweak in their game plan to our game plan, it is like the world falls apart. Brad has no answer, response, nothing. He has nothing, and it just falls on pure talent on everybody else's shoulder to figure it out. And that's a problem. That is the fundamental problem with Brad Stevens. He's a great coach, but nobody's flawless. And this is a pretty big flaw with Brad. He is one of the most frustrating coaches to watch because you know how good he can be. You know how good of a coach he can be. But if you give a tweak to his game plan, if you gave a counter that starts to work to Brad Stevens' game plan, he falls apart. He has no answer. None. There is no counter. There's no response. He has no answer. With the Pelicans game, that showed we were dominating them. And in the third quarter, the Pelicans started to figure it out a little bit. And they found a way to counter it. And he had no response. He had no counter. He had no tweak. his late game adjustment on the fly, he had nothing. That is a problem. And I don't know how you fix that. I don't know what he has to do, but Brad Stevens has to figure that out. At this point in his career, he should have already had that. I mean, you are an NBA coach, but to not have a counter to another team's counter, and you just knew, like when that lead got down to like 15 or 12, you just kind of held your breath because you knew they were gonna choke it away. I just felt it. I said they better close this because they're gonna get killed. If the last shot by Jason Tatum to end regulation wasn't a 2-pointer, it was a 3-pointer, nobody would have been talking about this game. You wouldn't have saw it on First Take. You wouldn't have saw it on, First Things First. You wouldn't have saw it on Colin Kerher's show, the Herd. You wouldn't have saw this game at all being covered. If Jason Tatum had made that shot at the end of regulation, would have been a 3-pointer instead of a 2-pointer. If they had just won the game that way, nobody would have talked about this game. And that's why, really, I don't care about the national media's what the national media is saying about our team. They don't even know the 8th guy on our team. So why do I care what Stephen A has to say? Why would I care what Colin Kerher has to say? Because listen, and this is the truth. We could have 5 losses. Do you know what they would have said? They would have stared into a camera and said the Brooklyn Nets are the best team in the Eastern Conference and they're going to the finals. So why do I care what they have to say about us now? They've never believed in us. They've never given us a chance. Every year we went to the finals. Well, I mean, the Eastern Conference Finals. What did they say? 16 or 17? Well, I got Cleveland going. I got Cleveland sweeping Boston. Albeit they were that much of a better team and they were right, but they never gave us a chance. Okay, going back to the 2018 when we had to play Cleveland. What did they say? I think it'd be close, but I'm gonna give Boston a chance. I think Cleveland's gonna win it. I think Cleveland's gonna. I'm not gonna give Boston a chance. I think Cleveland's gonna get past them. When we had to play Miami, what was the national media's real, like, where did they really side? On the Miami Heat side. They thought that the Miami Heat was a way better story. They rooted hard for the Miami Heat to get to the finals. So no, the national media doesn't even, like I said, I don't even care what the national media says about us because they don't know anything about this team. They don't know like I said, they don't know the 8th guy on this team. So why would I care what the national media got to say about the Boston Celtics? And you shouldn't either. So of course they're going to run with the whole narrative today that we're broken, that this team can't win. Like they said that at the beginning of last season when we brought Kemba Walker in. What did they say? They said this team's window is done, and they were saying the Sixers were out Horford were going to do something. So I don't care what the national media has to say about us because the facts are the facts. We're 15-15 and the season isn't over. It's the regular season. It isn't over. That's why they call it the regular season. It doesn't mean that much. But listen, we got to get this together. And I'll say that I'm not going to be all loom and gloom today because I feel like that's been a lot of that on Twitter. A lot of that. Everyone's already loom and gloom on us already. But I'll say this. That first half was the best half of basketball I've seen from this team. And that's the most encouraging part. All they've got to do is learn how to finish. They've got to finish. That first half was the best half of basketball this entire season. And the second half was the worst. I mean, not even really the second half, just the fourth quarter and overtime. Honestly, just from that standpoint, it was the worst because we stopped running. And as simple as that sounds, we stopped running. We stopped getting back up on the court. We stopped having ball pressure. We stopped doing the little things right, hustling. What makes us the Boston Celtics? We stopped doing those things. And it turned on us. The tides turned, the momentum turned. You just saw the New Orleans Pelicans jumping up and down every single time they made a goal. And on our side, on our bench, did you see anyone jumping up and down? Did you see anyone giving energy? It flipped. This team isn't dead. And I'll say that. This team isn't dead. But we have got to figure out what makes us. We have to figure out our identity. Honestly, this team has no real identity on offense or defense. And that first half, that was us. That showed me a lot. But we have got to figure out our identity or we will forever be inconsistent this season. I mean, I'm just being honest. We have to figure out our identity so we can go ahead and assert some type of consistency this season because they can't keep winning and losing, winning and losing, winning and losing, losing and winning, losing and winning all year. They can't keep doing that. At some point, they're going to look in the mirror and figure out who are they and what do they want to be. Because Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have already taken that step to all-star level. Now it's about making the players around you much better. It's about making those guys much better and bringing out the best in them. And I'll say this, Jason Tatum has done a little bit of that. He's already starting to do that. Now it's up to Jaylen Brown to do more of it. They have got to make the best out of everyone around them. And that is another level that they're getting to. But again, going back to Brad Stevens, not playing Robert Williams in the second half, not really calling timeouts, allowing New Orleans to get back in the lead. When they cut the lead from 24 to 15, you've got to call a timeout. You can't let them keep going. You've got to make a rotation. I'm sorry. Talk to Jaylen Brown. Hey, I'm sorry. I know it's 8 minutes left in the quarter, and I know I said I was going to give it, but I need you. I'm sorry, Kemba. I know I said that you could get some break. I need you. You can't let the lead just fall apart like that. When it's down 15, when you're up 15 points, hey, get my starters in here. Come on. When you see the momentum shift, and everyone, I could feel it from the TV. From watching it through the television, I can feel it. If I can feel it, imagine what the players can feel on the court. That was a fundamental meltdown from Brad Stevens. That's all that was. It was a complete meltdown, and it's festered with the adjustments, the lack of late game adjustments. It's festered, and it came to a head right there. That was the big head of it all right there, was Brad Stevens right there falling apart. And everyone wants to blame Danny Ainge. Everyone wants to blame the players, but blowing a 24-point lead, who else can you blame? You have to put that on the coach. Your team cannot close on Sundays. Your team isn't playing well on Sundays. Your team isn't closing games well. Who are you putting that on? The players or the coach? If the players aren't playing hard, that's on the coach. They represent their coach. The players on the court are a representation of their coach. That's why coaches coach so hard. Because they want you to show, I am a tough, hard-nosed coach. You know what? And my team is a tough, hard-nosed team. And right now, this is just showing me that this team, as soon as adversity hits, this team will just roll over and fall down. That's what it's showing me. This team is mentally weak. Mentally weak. They have got to be better. And I'm not going to give up on this team. And I'm not going to bash them and kill them. Again, like I said, there's been enough of that already. National media is already doing their talking head thing. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, can they do that? Everyone's already doing their whole little shtick right now. But I'm telling you, I still think we got a chance to get out the East. I still do. Even here, sitting here, 15-15, 6th seed, I still think we got a chance to get out the East. We got to get healthy. We got to make a move. ASAP. We got to make a move. I don't think it's got to be a big, but we got to get one more piece on that bench. It's got to be one more piece coming out that bench more consistent. It's got to be another consistent player come out that bench adding points. Other than that, the team just has to play. They have to learn how to finish, and they're going to take their lumps. These are lessons, and I hope they learn from them. That you have to finish games through. Finish games through. That should be the biggest thing that they are learning right now. The NBA is unforgiving. 20-point leads don't mean anything anymore. They don't. Like as they did in 2011, 2010, you go up by 24 points, the game is over. The game is too fast now. The three-point shot has become too prevalent in offenses to think that a 24-point lead, a 23-point lead is enough. It should be, but it's really not. You have to stick your foot on a team's neck. And that should be a lesson to them. This is a lesson. When you are up, stick your foot on a team's neck and watch them bleed out, as Tristan Thompson would say. That's how you finish a game. You don't have them jumping on the sideline, throwing threes up right there. You know what you do? You go out there and you turn a 24-point lead into a 30-point lead. And you watch them sit there and watch their team get destroyed. It's not the time to just sit back and go through the motions and just, what were we doing after the game and what were we eating after the game and just going through the motions. That's just it's too much going through the motions at the end of these games. In totality, we have to finish games better. And I haven't even talked about the players of the team. I haven't even talked about Jason Tatum, who hit the last shot. Okay, cool. I haven't talked about Jaylen Brown, who had a great, phenomenal, dominant first half, but was a no-show in the second half, and his defense was lackluster. I haven't talked about Tice, who has no situational awareness at all. None, period. He has no idea what he's doing out there. He should have got yanked after he threw up two horrendous three-point shots out of nowhere. Critical, just throwing away possessions. He should have got yanked right there. Brad kept him in the game. Why? I don't know. Kemba Walker, no show. Tristan Thompson, no show in the second half. Aaron Nesmith showed me something. Aaron Nesmith, I give him that. That's the one bright spot. Aaron Nesmith and Jason Tatum were the only bright spot in this game. But after that, I mean, Aaron Nesmith, Rob Williams, and Jason Tatum. Those are the only bright spots. Those are the only three players that are bright spots. But Peyton Pritchard, no show. Simi Ojeleye, no show. I mean, that's just what it is. And that is not me giving up on this team. Don't give up on this team. I'm telling you right now, don't give up on this team. Because there's enough of people already doing that. And when we start winning this game, you know what they're going to do? They're going to dismiss us. And I personally don't care because they've always been dismissing us. And this video dragged on, but it kind of deserved to be this long. Well, I have nothing left for the video, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.